Hey everyone, and welcome to the second birth story on that channel, obviously, because we have two kids. The birth of Elizabeth started completely different from the very first beginning, because Aaron was around. So, when my wife told me she's pregnant, it wasn't like, yay! It was more like, whoa, great. Because it's all planned and we all knew what's gonna happen, and we were totally excited. And we wanted to have a second child, and everything is awesome, but it's been not that exciting. And I already thought it would be like that, so everything's fine there. Pregnancy went on really, really well. She's been a bit late. Should have come on the 5th of February, and actually was born on the 10th of February or the 9th. However, you say, well, she's born on the 10th, but there's this day missing once more. So when you have a second child, you need to take care of a bit different stuff. And so we managed that my mother-in-law will take care of Aaron at the very moment we go to the hospital. So on this Saturday, the 9th of February, at about 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, my wife said, well, I guess my water broke. And I'm like, yeah, well, gone through this before, so we know what's gonna happen. And called the hospital, called my mother-in-law, she came, we went to the hospital. They checked on my wife, everything. We're like, well, this is business as usual. We already know what's gonna happen. She didn't have contraction back then, on that very moment, or not really, a little bit, but not really. And they actually said, well, there's nothing going on, no water broke, let's go home. And just to give it a quick anecdote, the city we live in is really multicultural. So the doctor, she's from Croatia, sort of, and really not rude, but rude, but she doesn't mean it that way. So I'm a bit like, what the hell's going on? But she's really kind and professional. Everything's awesome. But at the very first moment, I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? She was like, in the very first moment, I thought she's close to saying, well, why killing my time? Go home. You're not getting a child in the very next hours. So anyway, she was awesome. We met her again the other day, and we went home. We actually went home. And my mother-in-law was awesome because she said, well, okay, there will be something going on in the next hours, because my wife started to get a bit more contraction. They weren't regular, but there've been some. So the midwife said, well, it's might going to happen the next few hours or the next few days. And so my mother-in-law said, well, okay, it's a Saturday. I take Aaron with me. And that's what she did. So we went home, packed Aaron's stuff, and he went to his grandparents and enjoyed just the Saturday there. Coming back to that later. And my wife and I, we were just sitting at home waiting. And this has been really, really frustrating. Frustressful, awesome word. Frustrating and stressful, yes. Because we were just wasting time playing video games, trying to distract us. And my wife had always some contractions, meaning we were always like, oh, it's gonna happen now. And it's completely unregular. Well, okay, it's not gonna happen because it's completely unregular and doesn't make sense. So we waited and waited and waited. And then at the late afternoon, I can't tell the exact hour, but in the late afternoon, it got regular. And we were like, okay, let's go to the hospital, just to be at a safe place before it gets more intense. And so we went there. Really, really awesome hospital. It's been a different hospital, like where my son was born. Way smaller. There were just 2 rooms to get birth and to give birth. And yeah, way smaller. But awesome people there. Really, really awesome midwife, doctors, everything. Totally awesome. And I come back to that more often. So yeah, we went there. They checked on my wife once more and said, well, okay, there are 2 options. It's not gonna happen right now. Do you want to stay here or do you want to go home once more? And my wife was, no, I don't want to go home. And I completely understood. I was like, well, it doesn't make a difference. But my wife didn't want to go home. So we stayed there, got a room, and they checked on my wife ever so often. And they actually said, try to sleep. Deja vu, same thing happened with Aaron. We should find some sleep, we didn't. And yeah, we went in this room, and it got more intense, but way more slow than with Aaron, and it took hours, and we didn't know what to do. My wife listened to some music, but it got more intense, so she couldn't concentrate on it because she had pain and all that. And I was completely just standing around and be bored as fuck. Because I couldn't do anything, and all I wanted to do is to make it happen faster. Even thinking about Aaron, who was fast asleep at that very moment at my parents-in-law, but I was like, yeah, hopefully it's gonna happen soon. And yeah, it took quite a while, and sort of midnight, it seemed that it's gonna happen in the next few hours. But Aaron was out 3 hours after the first real contractions. And I'd say the first real contractions been like at 6 p.m. on that Saturday, and Elisabeth was born at 3 a.m. that Sunday. But this very last bit of pregnancy, let's call it like that, that's been totally not on my mind. And that's the real fun story, actually, because I thought it's fun. I don't know how my wife thought, but I thought it was fun. The midwife said, and we had one midwife, and she was so awesome. She was so kind. There was another mom giving birth to her child, and she was in pain, and we heard the story like she got a PDA, but only on one. It only worked on one side, and she was in pain, and always you heard this crying, I don't want any more, get this kid out of me, and stuff like that, which stresses you even more. And but this midwife was awesome, taking care of both of us. And then she called another midwife on that station, saying, well, I have to give birth to this one kid, can you check on the other? And that was my wife, which was taken care of. And she said, well, I'm gonna prepare the room. And we went over. My wife already totally in pain, every few minutes, moments actually. She walked over, lay in my arms in pain, already crushing my hands once more. Standing in the room. The midwife wasn't done yet. The doctor wasn't there yet. She lay down. I took my place. And there's like one press with a huge bang. There was water coming out of it. Also hit me. I was standing pretty much next to the head of my wife, or the breasts of my wife. The water came to my arm. So she pressed once, water came out, pressed twice, the head was out, pressed the third time, and my daughter was out. That's it. The doctor gave me these things to check on the heart rate of the kid. And she's like, okay, I can't get it fixed. Can you please try to find the place where your daughter is and get a bit of a heart rate? There's no 10 minutes on that paper, and she was out. It's been that fast. Seriously, my wife was in my arm, in pain, lying down, press once, press twice, press 3 times, and my daughter was out. And that's it. 10 minutes. And I was like, what the hell? Because with Aaron, this period is like 2 hours or something. 3 hours, 2 hours, 2.5. And that's like 10 minutes. And then she's there. On the breast of my wife. And that's it. And then the doctor came like, what the hell is going on? And the midwife said, yes, there you go. Bit late. And we're all like, what the hell was that? And yeah, then Elisabeth was there. And my experience in that very moment was way different. Because first of all, I knew what's gonna happen. I knew how it might feel because I already experienced that with Aaron. But it was so different. There was once more the same emotion. I was again crying. I'm close to tears right now, even thinking about that moment. And yeah, my wife didn't have to go to under operation because everything was fine. And everything involving my wife and Elisabeth after that, please check on the video of my wife. Link in the description down below, and I will make a video on that topic as well. But I would like to talk about the actual birth right now. So my wife got cleaned up, Elisabeth got cleaned up, washed, they checked on her measurements and the weight and stuff, and everything was awesome. Again, small, but watch me and watch my wife, and then you know why. And everything fine. And it's like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm really, really tired. And after Elisabeth was out, I realized all this adrenaline is going away. And my wife was in that room again to calm down and relax. And I'm like, would you mind if I just leave? Because we drove there by car and I needed to drive home. And I thought, now I'm in the condition to drive a car for a few minutes, but not for longer. And so I went off half an hour after the birth, an hour after the birth. I went home and tried to sleep a bit. Completely on my own in our apartment, which was strange, but yeah. The next morning I went to the hospital really, really soon. And my parents-in-law came to bring Aaron. And this was really strange because we tried to prepare Aaron for everything that's gonna happen, but it didn't work out that great. He saw his daughter, his sister, sorry. He saw his sister a few minutes, and then I took him home and we spent the rest of the day together. And he cried a lot on that evening. And maybe that's another completely different video I'd need to shoot, because my relationship with Aaron has these few thingies while we're connected the way we are. We're connected, awesome. And so the next day we went in the hospital, and I asked my wife to come home early because I didn't want to see Aaron crying because he's missing his mom and he don't know what's happening. And so I brought them home. I feel like I pushed her to come home. I don't know if that's true. I guess not, but that's what I feel. And that's what this video is about, what I feel as a father. And so they came home the very next day. And actually there's a moment why this hospital is so great. We asked them, is it okay that we're gonna leave today? And there are some checks you need to do 36 hours after the birth. So on that Monday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, there's a doctor coming in saying, oh, you want to leave as soon as possible, right? Okay, I'm gonna check on you right now. And we're gonna do all the checks of your daughter right now. We could do them tomorrow, but you want to leave, so we're doing it right now, skipping everything else. And that's awesome, because I can guarantee you that on the other hospital we've been with Aaron, they would have said something like, no, please stay here. We need to make sure that you understand everything. And they were like, okay, it's all good. We had a midwife for the care after, so everything was sorted there. And they completely understood our situation and were like, yeah, okay, go home. Here are all the checks. Everything is done. Thanks very much. And there you go. So, awesome hospital. That doesn't help you because I guess you're not living here. But anyway, everything after the birth I'd like to talk in a different video, because then it would take like an hour. And yeah. In hindsight, it's something completely different than what happened with Aaron, because of two reasons. First, I thought I knew what's going to happen. I was not completely unprepared. But on the other hand, it was so completely different because it's a different hospital, but also because it happened completely different, that it's been a new experience once more, a new really, really great experience. And I didn't thought I would feel the same way as I did with Aaron, but I actually did. It's been the exact same emotion once more, holding this little baby, which is yours. And this is a really, really great moment. And I hope you get this moment really, really soon and you enjoy it. So, yeah. If your wife is pregnant for the second time, again, look forward to it and congratulations anyway. And if you're waiting for your first child to get born, if you haven't watched the video of Aaron's birth, here on my channel and as well on my channel, on the channel of my wife. And yeah, everything else will be dealt with in another video. Thanks ever so much for watching, and see you next week. Bye bye.